Hello and welcome to the Bend Like Bamboo Resilience Show. To bend like bamboo is to master change with flexibility. And on the show, I get to interview very special guests talking about all things resilience. And this week, I'd love to introduce Donna Campisi. Welcome, Donna.
Thanks, Amanda. Thank you for having me. It's exciting.
Pleasure. Let me introduce you properly. So, Donna
Okay.
Campisi is a passionate woman inspiring people around the world to turn their dreams into reality by hosting a podcast called Ready, Set, Goal. She is a keynote speaker, author, coach, mentor, and adventurer. Donna inspired many people with her Stroke to Marathon Challenge. From only being able to run 30 tentative steps in 2012 after a childhood stroke and diabetes, to competing her marathon goal in 2013, while encouraging many along the way that there's no such thing as can't, and raising funds for the RCH Foundation. Donna coaches people to achieve their goals and step outside their comfort zone by organising awesome adventure activities, encouraging people to face their fears in a fun and inclusive environment. She is author to Turn Dreams into Reality, an inspirational Bible, and The Unlikely Marathoner, proving that there really is no such thing as can't. Oh, Donna, I'm so glad to have you on the show.
Thank you. Yes, it's good to be here.
You know, we met through friends of friends, and then I realized that we had so much in common.
For sure. And the friend did say that. Yeah, Carol, when she mentioned you, she said, "Oh, we've got
Yeah,
so much
beautiful
in common."
Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've both gone very different but very similar things. So it's so lovely to
Yeah.
get to know you and to
Yeah.
understand your journey. And so, shall we just dive in? I'd love to know, what does
Yeah.
resilience mean to you?
Look, that's to me, it means getting up after stumbling and doing the best I can with what I've got. It also means determination, striving,
Mm,
pushing through tough times to get to the good times.
easier said than done sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I've had my ups and downs too. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
What do you think makes it so hard sometimes?
I think it's most of the time it's to do with your mental state. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
totally
because
agree.
as you know, I've had physical, uh, things, obstacles, and stuff that can get in the way. But really, it all comes down to your mental state, your
State.
mindset.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I totally agree.
yeah.
Well, you've been through a lot. Is there something in particular that you'd like to share today of something you've been through that you've had to overcome?
Yeah, this is it's probably a difficult one to answer because I've had a few things really
Well, I imagine,
like
I guess that you might talk about your stroke, but you talk about anything that you want to,
yeah.
anything at all, that maybe it's something, maybe it's lockdown, maybe it's what we've been through recently.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know, I understand what you're saying, but I suppose, yeah, what the story that began was when I was 7 years old and had this stroke, and that was probably the biggest thing that I'd have to overcome. And
Mm,
going through like the struggles, because I was in intensive care, doctors said that I'm lucky to be alive and walking and
yeah.
talking actually. So that was an obstacle that I had to put a lot of work into my body. So I'm very lucky to be in the state that I'm in now. And also, then when I was 14, I was diagnosed with diabetes type 1. So that was like another kind of, I remember my mum kind of saying, "Oh, what next? Haven't I been through enough?"
Yeah.
But it's just an example of, an obstacle that, can sometimes get in the way or just make things a little bit harder, but I'm always about self-improvement, and that goes with physical and mental. So I think they're the main challenges and obstacles that I've had to overcome, but also things like I've been through things like relationship breakups and
Yeah.
breakdowns and financial hardships that your listeners will can probably relate to too. So more so than a stroke perhaps, but
Mm.
and yeah, so I know what it's like for to actually overcome difficult moments, I
But do you find
suppose.
exactly a good point with finances or a relationship or recovering from an illness? Do you think that it all came down to a very similar common denominator in regards to resilience?
Hmm.
Was there one thing that seemed across the board familiar or similar?
Oh, to get over and overcome
Yeah,
that.
overcoming it, whether no matter
Yeah.
what it is, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it's having the strength and determination. I even remember the hard times, say, for example, of, a relationship breakdown and that sort of thing. I remember this one point in my life where I just felt really so down about it, that I remember this moment of me in the shower just saying out loud, "This will make me stronger." And I think that is a common thing that I think about all the time. And I also think, um, when it's something that's a challenge that it's hard to do,
Mm.
I've had this message that was given to me by my physiotherapist when I was 8 years old, learning to walk again. Well, actually learning to crawl again. And I remember that day when she
Oh,
said, "Okay, Donna, we're gonna get you on your hands and knees, and let's move forward." And I was just so adamant that I just said, I can't. I was so fearful and scared, I don't know what of, maybe
yeah.
just falling and balance and
It's
those
an overwhelming
sort of
time when you
things.
lose your
Yeah,
cool. I remember the same thing. I had to crawl first before I could walk. I
of
totally
course. Yeah, it's a baby steps, and that was literally
right back to the
baby
start.
steps. Yeah,
Yeah, right
exactly.
back to the start. And so what did this physio tell
But
you? What was the
she
message?
told me these words, I'll never forget. She said, "Donna, there's no such thing as can't."
Mm.
But I was still crying, but I stopped for a moment and went, "I'm sure I've heard those words before." As a child, you think that. And I don't know who was more stubborn, the physio, her name was Julie, or myself, but she ended up leaving me on my hands and knees and walking to the door and turning again and just saying, "Donna, there's no such thing as can't," and walking out the door.
What an angel, really. Like it would
Um,
have sucked at the time, but
I
what an angel.
know. Yeah, for sure.
Wow. What did that teach you? What she did?
Look, it eventually I calmed down and really had a think about it. And then it taught me that I had a choice to make, because she came back in the room and she said, "Donna, I'm going to give you two choices here. I can put you back in the wheelchair,
Mm.
or you can give this crawling thing a go." And of course, I gave it a go. And she, of course, said, "Look, I'm here to help you. I'm here to support you." And that's what I really like to talk about with
Mm.
people as well, when I talk about goals and being too difficult and challenges that come across
Mm.
along the way. I sort of like to tell people it's okay to ask for support and help.
Yeah.
Like we can all get a little bit proud and stubborn and go, "Oh, look, I'll work
And
this
it's
out
coming out of
myself."
protection, isn't it? To be able to receive help and love. Like we're frightened, we're in protective mode and we shut down a little bit, don't we? It's hard to ask then.
Yeah.
But when you hit rock bottom, you have no choice. When you can't walk and you know you have to make that choice, there always is a
Yeah.
choice. That's really, there always is a moment of choice, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I say that all the time. We've all got decisions that we can make, especially in
Mm.
our country, where it's a free
Freedom to do that. Yeah.
country. We can make our own choices, and yeah. So whenever I hear about people going through hard times, I just try and encourage and go, "Look,
Mm.
seek an expert. Even if you've got this goal that you really want to achieve, and you're finding that, oh, not even, I also encourage people to surround themselves with positive people. But sometimes people will say to me, "Look, my friends don't understand, or they're not encouraging, or I'm too scared to tell them, or whatever." Go seek an
Seek guidance
expert.
elsewhere. Yeah, not
Yeah,
necessarily your inner circle.
find out who's done it
Yeah.
already. And I
Yeah.
really encourage that. And I welcome
Mm.
people to come to me even. But
Mm.
I've done it myself, like even the marathon challenge. I I read books, and I actually even called authors and spoke to them and met up with them that had ran marathons and,
Yeah.
done these crazy challenges, just to get, their take on it. And I don't know, it's just exciting to actually just surround yourself with people that get your
Yeah,
goal.
and new people, because if we're just constantly asking the people around us that we see every day, we're not going to expand our views and knowledges and perceptions. We're more likely to change our minds about old ways of thinking if we expand our networks.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're spot on. Yeah.
So tell me, what was your lowest point and how did it feel? Was it when you were put on your all fours before you made your choice to try?
Yeah, you could say that one was. Yeah, let's go with that.
What it, what,
Like I said,
it's a big
there's been a
one.
few, but yeah, that is, yeah, all right.
So if it was that moment of choice and your lowest point was I can't, and then she put you on your all fours before you chose to try, what did it feel like when you felt so overwhelmed, so fearful, like you couldn't? Like, talk me through that state and mindset that you were in.
It's just a fear, and I think as a child, it's just, you know, that fear of the unknown as well, like, oh, what's going to happen next, because I'd been through so much already, I
Yeah,
think. And it was just, I don't want to go through, and that's just sounds silly, because
doesn't
I'm
at
on a
all.
gym, I'm on a gym mat where I'm not going to fall too far, just like from crawling position,
But mentally,
one
you might
should
have
fall.
felt so overwhelmed and in protection that it doesn't sound silly at all to me. It sounds like, we do say that, whether we're trying to fall into a new relationship or fall onto that physio mat or fall into a whole new version of ourselves, when we have been through so much, it can be really hard to try and believe that it's going to work out.
Yeah, I think so. And it's as adults, we all even, find that point where it's just, I think it's a real belief as well. Yeah, like you say,
Yeah.
believing, you can. And
Mm.
when I sort of talk about, people asking themselves, or someone asking them, can you do this, like, for example, the marathon, for instance, can you run a marathon? And I had to ask myself, can I? Then there's only two direct answers, really, either yes or no. But I like to sort of ask, how can I? Or how can you? Like, not everyone wants to run a marathon. It might be something else. It might be, another goal that, your listeners will have. And if they ask themselves, how can I, instead of just, oh, can I?
Yeah.
Sometimes
How's the key word? Yeah.
yeah, we just give up on ourselves and just go, well, I don't think I can. And that's it. But working out a way that you possibly can, you always do. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes we have to take that plunge to prove to ourselves that we can do it. And it's the chicken before the egg, isn't it? It's so hard. And so that was your lowest point. And even in your bio, like it explains, you talk about how you couldn't even, 30 tentative steps in 2012, but then you went on to completing a marathon in 2013. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, well, that was one of those moments that before even I attempted the 30 steps, somebody asked me, and, as I was an adult, they asked me, Donna, what can't you do since you've had this stroke?
Mm.
And I've always tried to focus on what I can do. And I had to think about it for a little while. And I said, I haven't felt confident to run since I was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And this was, I think she asked me when I was in my late 30s or maybe 40 or something. So it was quite a few years. And I thought one night, like, I used to live in Elwood, directly across from the beach. I'd go walking, and walking is fine for me. Yes, I walk with a slight limp and a weakness, and, that's from the effects of the stroke. But running was that's another story. And I noticed a lot of runners that night. It was just one beautiful, daylight saving night, and, just walking along. And I remembered that moment when that, person asked me that, and I thought I should give this running thing a go. And then the voices start happening in your head. Like one voice saying, but what if you fall? It's similar to the crawling thing, probably.
Yeah, what if you
What
can't?
if you fall?
And so how did you overcome
And
that?
then, well, the other voice I listened to that said, you've fallen so many times, Donna. And I just thought, yeah, I have. So I just went for it because nobody was with me. No one was beside me to catch me, hold my hand or anything like that.
Yeah.
And this was my thing. So I just gave it a go. And because I actually I was fearful, like, because I do fall a lot, even now. I so I did it and I gave it a few goes. Like, I was counting my steps, of course, when I was doing this. First it was 20 and I thought I was so excited and then I had to stop. Then 25 and then I got to 30 and I hadn't fallen, which was great, but I was super excited as well because I thought, well, if I've just improved in that short moment, surely I can learn to run again. And surely this is where I thought, speaking of getting help from experts and stuff like that, I thought I really need to find someone that can help me, that kind of knows how to deal with someone like me who's had a stroke and my weaknesses. I just didn't want to go with anybody, if you know what I mean, because we have to work out different ways of doing things and training and stuff like that. So, and strengthening. So that evening I walked home all excited with all these ideas in my head going, I wonder if I can run a 4-kilometer fun run perhaps. And then I wanted to raise funds for the Royal Children's Hospital Foundation, who have saved my life more than once and helped so many children and families. So I had all these crazy ideas. And then from that, I contacted a coach that I had met actually at a business event. And there were two guys who coached people with running, one physical and one to do with nutrition. And they were awesome guys. They were experts to me, especially, both of them, but Sean, who was the physical coach, is a musculoskeletal therapist as well as a runner. They were both runners. They both did ultra marathons, and so they knew their stuff. So I really trusted them. And that's when Sean said, look, because he knew that I wanted to do something with this. I said, I really want to raise funds. And he said, Donna, look, if you really want to inspire people, anyone can run a 4K run. And I thought, I can't. Not right now. I thought that was a big thing. And he said, no, you should do something big. You should run a marathon. And that's how that developed.
Awesome. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
It's funny when we really just let go of control and we kind of just swim downstream more and trust the right practitioner, the right teacher, the right guidance, comes our way, and we discover what we're made of and what we can really achieve and our fullest potential when we just go for it. So how is your life better now, having gone through that? Or even,
yeah.
did we talk about the turning point? Actually, that's something just before that. What was there a particular turning point before you talk about that, of like how it just shifted from the negative state into I can? Like, what was the particular turning point for you?
Oh, that's a good question because I cannot think of one particular point. I think it's been a journey for me. It's a progression, a progression of being able to achieve small goals along the way.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, to be able to even walk or run 30 steps is a huge thing for some people, and that was for me. Whereas the everyday people, that would seem lame.
Yeah, but for you, that was, and then that proved and showed you what you were capable of. That then ricocheted to others.
Yeah, I think so. And I say this all the time, like it's the small steps that get you to your
Yeah.
big goal. And that's an example of
Yeah.
even breaking down the marathon training. First it was do a 5K fun run. And when I did that, I was just blown away. That was probably the moment actually
Yeah.
where with the running, where I was so happy and proud of myself. I got, my medal at the end of the run, and you know what fun runs are like. But I just thought, okay, I've done this. So all I need to do is the next step, and I'll double that and train for 10Ks. So
Yeah.
that was my next step for training for something else.
Yeah.
That brought me closer to my marathon. So after the 10K, I did another training for a half marathon. So
Yeah.
it was little steps, but I
Yeah.
think, I think the 5K run, sometimes when I talk about it, is just like that was the bigger than the actual marathon in itself
Yeah.
in my actual mental state and
Yeah.
building confidence.
I
And
love that. That's really important.
yeah,
Multiple turning points, and just to keep one foot in front of the other, continue the smaller changes translate to the bigger ones. So how is your
yeah.
life better now, having gone through all this?
I think it's really I've I've got out of my own head, and I think like even things like for example wearing a leg brace. I have to wear a leg brace for foot drop. You know how I said I trip a lot.
I used to have one of those. I totally understand. It
So do we
helps you
need
with
to
gait.
explain what foot drop is to everyone?
Go for
We
it.
should. Foot drop is a leg brace that goes up to the calf muscle under the knee, and it goes into your shoe as well. And it's basically similar to a caliper, like the good old days. I don't know if people wear calipers anymore,
It
but
puts your foot on that foot and leg in the right angle so that you can
it
lift it.
raises your toes,
Yeah,
basically.
before
Yeah.
we had the ability to do that on our own.
Yeah, so because no, the average person, we all walk with our heel first and then land on our toes.
Yes.
But I land on my toes first and then the heel, and that's where the tripping, gets in
Yes.
the way. So I've worn this for years now, but I used to hide it a lot. Amanda, I used to go to a gym in the summer when it was really hot, wear long tracksuit pants just because, and jeans a lot. If I was to wear a skirt, it would be long boots I'd wear with it to cover the brace and all that sort of thing. And that's the same with my hand, even. The hand, I have a slight, it's a bit smaller, and the spasticity that comes with it. And I would be nervous around people and really feel, I think the reaction of my nervousness would make my um, hand even more stiff. And I would just be really self-conscious about, oh, what are people looking at? What do people think? And I think my turning point too was with sharing the whole marathon journey. I shared it every day on
Yeah.
social media. I wasn't wearing long tracksuit pants all the time. I was wearing, like 3/4 pants and whatever, and showing off my brace, my AFO, is what you
Accepting
call it.
yourself and where you're at.
And I realized this was helping other people, because when
Yeah.
people saw it, I had people question me about it, and it actually helped them. I remember a guy I just even walked past in my neighborhood in Elwood, and he stopped me and said, "What is that?" And then I told him, and he said, "Oh, look at mine." And his was shorter, it was more of an ankle one. And he said, "Oh, I have so much problems." And it was like I was, I kind of recommended the guy that I go to, and now he's, a customer of Darren who makes mine. And it's just one of these things that snowballs and helps people. And that's
Yeah.
what I really believe
Yeah.
that has helped me
Share your
to
story as
change,
well.
to change my way of thinking, and
Mm.
to get just to get over myself and accept my
Mm.
imperfections, because I think accepting
Mm.
your imperfections, makes you more confident. And
Mm.
it's like anything, like I think even in anyone's goals, if anyone's listening, and if you're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect look, the perfect speech, the perfect website, the perfect business card, the perfect training session that you want to give, the perfect client, all of this perfection that, we're waiting for and thinking that we need to have set in place before we actually do something.
It's about
You'll be
letting go of
waiting,
control, isn't it?
you'll
Yeah.
be waiting a long time. So
Where
don't
you're at
wait.
right now is perfect, isn't it?
I think so. And I think it even reminds me of, I think I mentioned it in this book, actually, this latest book, how I had a conversation with someone we were talking about public speaking, and she was really nervous about it, comparing herself to others because she hasn't done it before. And I just said, look, go out there and do it, do the best that you can. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because especially when you're speaking, I used to do this when I was a speaker earlier on, because I'd have notes in my head, I wouldn't read or anything, or sometimes, if you had it on a table or whatever, but then go back and go, oh crap, I forgot to mention that, or sorry, I said crap.
No, you're fine. This is like the kind of podcast where you can say whatever.
Okay, good. But and then I thought later, I don't know if it was something that I thought or if someone told me later, going, do you think anybody noticed that, Donna? And I just thought, yeah,
Whatever
they
you would have
wouldn't have
said,
even known.
and whatever you said in that moment was the perfect thing for that crowd and for that energy.
Definitely.
And it's taken me a long time to let go of the control enough to not have the script. To this day, I still catch myself controlling it too much. And whatever you've got in your head is the perfect thing, and whatever comes out, as we're doing right now, is the perfect dialogue and conversation. So tell me,
Yeah. So
what
I
did
always say, don't wait for opportunities, create
yeah,
them yourself.
yeah.
Mm.
So what's the main thing you've learned with what we've talked about, what you've been through, how you've overcome it? Like if you elevated above and saw everything from that higher perspective, what did you learn?
That I'm able to get through whatever comes my way.
Yeah.
And that I have the strength to do whatever I want and to get through hard times. I've
Wow.
really this. Are you talking about myself or
Yeah, no,
in
that's
general?
perfect. What did you
Because
learn? So I can basically is what I'm hearing. And how
yeah.
does that translate to the decisions you make every day, how you put yourself out there professionally and personally, your love life, your career, and your health? Like that, if you learned I can get through whatever comes my way, how's that translated into every other area of your life?
Oh, all the time if something happens in my life, and like even the COVID thing,
Mm.
I just sort of say to myself, I will get through this.
Yeah.
And I've been through worse.
Yeah, you've been through so much.
So yeah, I really do say that to myself. I said, oh, there's times where you just go, oh gosh, how can I keep going or whatever. But I don't do that as much now, because I just know that I'll get through this. Even if we do face hard times, like there's always, I don't know, it's just
Well, you've got evidence of that now.
trusting that you're strong enough, and if you're not, asking for that help. I
Yeah, asking
really
for help is really important.
mm,
Just ask.
yeah.
So do you have 3 tips you'd like to share with everybody today on how to be more resilient?
Yes. Believe you can, basically. If you
Yeah.
don't, how do you expect others to?
Yeah.
I just think that's really important.
Yeah.
And I think it's what I mentioned before. Ask yourself, how can I?
Yeah.
And you'll work out a way. Even what's the things that I've mentioned? Yeah, basically connect with the expert, the people that have done it. And I
Beautiful.
mean, it's so amazing how you can connect with people on social media now. But even
Yeah.
if you cannot connect with them straight, I mean, read their book, do their training, whatever it is that they're an expert in, and
Yeah.
be persistent. You'll get there if you be persistent to actually want to meet them and talk to them, because you'll find that a lot of people really love to help people anyway, and they love it when they see someone that's enthusiastic
Yeah.
about a goal. I do anyway. If
Yeah.
someone wants to me with something, I am blown away, and I will listen. I will help if I can,
Yeah.
or I will just listen to their excitement as they may just want someone to bounce off. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So I think being persistent with that, yeah, definitely.
Beautiful. I love it. So you've written a new book and it's called Change is Not a Scary Word.
Yeah.
That's
This
very
this
exciting.
it is exciting. This one, yeah.
Beautiful. So what came out of how did you birth this book? What did it just come out of recent inspiration or?
Yeah, in February 2000 this year, I noticed all of the excitement that everyone had, especially when you speak to people or see it on social media. Everyone was so excited about 2020, as they should be. And I noticed that people were saying, I'm going to do this and change this, and all of those goals that everyone makes in the beginning of a year.
Yeah.
But this was the beginning of a new decade, and it was even more special to people, it
Great.
seemed. And I know from just from my experience of seeing people set goals and working with people, that people have these amazing goals and dreams at the beginning of the year, but by April it sort of sometimes goes by the wayside, and they
Yeah.
get distracted or busy, or it's not so important, even though secretly it is.
Yeah.
They'll sort of prioritize other things.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to put a book together to inspire people to change and give them tips as well to face that change, because secretly, they may have that change that I'm saying, that goal that they want to achieve, but don't think it's important, or it's about facing a fear perhaps. So I decided to get 10 authors together that I personally knew. Some I knew more so than others, that had a story of change to share and to inspire other people. And
Great.
so I've got 10 super authors, and myself included, who have all written a chapter each about their story of where they came from, their backstory, to how they've changed, and to how it's benefited them and other people even, and also their tips that they want to
Beautiful.
inspire other people with. And yeah, it's exciting.
That's really
Thank
exciting.
you.
And
Can
so,
I show it?
of course, show us.
I'm
Let's have
excited to have a copy in my
gorgeous.
hand, because
That's
I mean, this is
wonderful.
from an idea in February this year, and I have
Yeah.
it in my hand. So I'm
Beautiful.
pretty
Well
excited
done.
about it.
Congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
if people want to find you, it's Donna Campisi, CAMPISI.com.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Donna. It's
Thanks for having
so great
me.
to chat to you today. And I know you've got a virtual book showing event.
Yeah, we've got a book launch online, simply because we cannot get together because
Yep.
of COVID. And I just thought, no, that's not going to stop us. So we're doing a Zoom online
Great.
book launch, which we're all really excited about. So yeah, it's on my website, actually,
Great.
not my website, my Facebook page, but you can find the Facebook page on the
On the
website.
website.
Yeah, so it's an event that we've just started then. So please, if anyone's listening and it's before November the 8th, I don't know when this
I'm
is
sure we
going to
will
be.
release this before then. It's usually a couple of weeks in advance. And I do apologize to my listeners.
Okay.
Working from home comes with sometimes loud noises outside. So I'm trying
I
to
didn't
edit
hear
them out as much as
anything.
possible.
No.
But thank you, Donna. I know that the listeners are going to get so
Yeah,
much
you're
out of
welcome.
today. And, no matter what you guys are going through, you can overcome it and discover what you are made of.
Yeah.
All
Yeah, I
right. See you,
agree.
Donna. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.
Awesome. Thanks, Amanda.
Beautiful.
Thanks for
Pleasure.
having me.
Pleasure. And I'll see you all next week.